welcome to another bacon blog video. Today we're going to be making one of my favorite cakes. We're going to be making coffee cake. So let's get started. Ingredients for this cake is 200 grams of plain flour, 200 grams of caster sugar, 200 grams of softened butter which has been at room temperature. You're going to need coffee. You can use whatever coffee you have. I am using instant coffee. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of that. You're going to need 2 eggs, baking powder, baking soda, and you're also going to need 1 teaspoon of boiling water. So let's get started. So let's start off by creaming together our sugar and our butter. So this is 200 grams of sugar and 200 grams of softened butter, which has been at room temperature. So we've mixed together our butter and our sugar and it's nice and creamy. So we can add in our eggs one at a time. So we're going to crack one egg in and mix, and then add the other and mix. We've mixed together our butter, sugar and our eggs, and now it's time to add in 200 grams of plain flour. I already sifted this, so let's add it in and mix. Like always, if your cake batter is a bit thick, you can add in some milk. So I'm going to add in 100 milliliters of milk into my mixture. Now we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and this will help our cakes to rise. Now we're getting on to the best part, which is adding in our coffee. So we're going to get 2 teaspoons of coffee, and we're going to get 1 teaspoon of boiling water. And we're going to give this a nice mix. You can change the amount of coffee that you're going to put in the cake depending on how strong you like your coffee. So now we can add in our coffee and water mixture into our cake batter. So the coffee I added before wasn't strong enough and our cake doesn't have that exact coffee flavor. So I'm going to add in another 2 teaspoons of coffee and 1 teaspoon of water. Let's add our second mix of coffee into our cake, a little at a time, just so you know how much coffee you need. Our batter is ready to put into the tin. I ended up adding a bit more coffee just to really give it that coffee taste. You can add as much or as little coffee as you like. So now I have my grease-proofed and buttered tin, and we're going to move our cake into it. Our cake batter is ready to go into a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 40 to 45 minutes. So let's go and put it in. Tip I'll give you is when your cake is out of the oven, leave it in the fridge for about 15 minutes before you ice it, because this will help you ice it much better without the cake breaking apart. And now we are going to make our coffee buttercream. So for that we're going to need 250 grams of icing sugar, 150 grams of butter. We're also going to need coffee. Like with the cake, you can add as much or as little coffee as you like. I have 2.5 teaspoons of coffee with 2 teaspoons of water in it. And I'm also going to garnish the cake with some chopped walnuts. First, we're going to add in our icing sugar and our butter. So this is also softened butter and it was at room temperature. Butter is at room temperature and it is softened, this step will become a lot easier for you. So we finally have our icing sugar and butter mixture, and now we're going to add a little bit of coffee at a time, and we're going to mix it. buttercream is finally finished. It is probably one of the smoothest and silkiest buttercream that you'll ever make. So now we're going to put it onto our cake. Cake is finally finished. I garnished the top and the sides with some crushed walnuts. You can do that, it is, if you want, it is optional. So here I have a slice of cake, so let's give it a taste test. The sponge is really soft and it has a really nice coffee flavor, but the buttercream is so nice. It's really, really nice. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell to know when I post new videos, or come back next week for new recipes. Bye!